everybody, what is going on? I am Maximus Rex and this is Big Baby Reviews. Today is Wildcard Sunday, where we look at stuff a little bit off the beaten track of what we usually look at throughout our regularly scheduled videos during the week. So this one is actually quite different, not an actual comic book. This is what's called, or what used to be called back in the day, a sticker album or a sticker book. Those of you who are familiar with this, I don't need to explain, but I will explain a little bit for those who may be a little bit younger and just have never seen this here nostalgic artifact. So back in the day when I was a little kid, you know, in the early 80s, mid 80s, even until probably the late 80s and early 90s, we had these kind of books that you would buy called sticker albums, where you would have empty spaces. And then, you know, you would start off with a book and then you would go to the store and you would buy packs of stickers and you would open them up. And you'd have appropriate places where to put those stickers inside the comic. So if I show you the first page, for example, right, when I first had this book as a kid, these were not filled in there, right? There was kind of empty spaces and they would tell you which go where and you would figure it out yourself, right? And the same for this one here. So eventually when I got these stickers from one of those packs, I popped them in here, right? Pretty badly on this last one here. It's like I did really well on these ones, or maybe an adult helped me possibly, and I wanted to do this last one and I got it really bad. That's what I feel happened there. I don't have an actual memory of it, but like there's like a tinge of memory there that tells me that's what happened. So just gonna go back to the cover real quick. So that was a sticker album, and eventually you would hopefully get all the stickers and finish up your album. There were ways you could trade with friends. Some teachers at school sometimes would have stickers as well. It was a really big thing, and you would trade and hopefully fill out your album. So this album surprisingly is complete. I think it's my only one that I have that is actually complete. And I don't quite remember either how that worked out, if I traded the right stickers or, you know, but eventually somehow I was able to complete this whole album. So we're going to have a look inside and see what that consists of. And some of the, obviously in those packs, they would have promotional stickers for themselves. Panini was the company that did all these books and stuff. So for some reason I got a golden sticker and decided to stick it on the front there, which kind of annoys me now, but whatever, you know, as a kid, that's what you do. I did hang on to this for all this time, so good on me for that. Let's have a look inside, guys. Let's crack her open. It's a little wider than my usual format. There we go. So nice yellowed paper, obviously. I wrote my name there as a kid, 1988. So I would have been 7 when I got this, I guess. Yeah. Long time ago, eh? This stuff really does look vintage now when I look at it. Even to me, right? So you've basically got, you know, kids at that age. I think it's pretty common for us guys especially to be into dinosaurs, not excluding the ladies obviously, but it tends to be pretty common for guys that were into dinosaurs and creatures and stuff like that. So totally makes sense that I would have this book. My friends had this book too. It was a pretty popular book, right? There were popular books out there like Transformers. You know, there were sticker album books for like everything, basically everything the kids were into. It was a good market. So it starts off with, you know, how the Earth is born, right? The kind of the history of the Earth. I'm sure some of this information is probably outdated, but it shows you, you know, how we believe the basic essence of life started off. I don't think it's veered that much off since 1988, but you know, the idea of lava. I like this image is still, for some reason, when I imagine primordial, I just realized now looking at it, when I think of primordial Earth, I'm kind of seeing this image here. It's interesting, right? Look, me looking over this, let's say 35, 36 years later. Yeah, I realized that, you know, some of these images are kind of ingrained in my head. So this is kind of the beginnings of, you know, people discovering fossils and what we kind of discovered about creatures from the past, right? Archaeopteryx, I believe is how you pronounce it. I was always fascinated with this idea, well preserved in rock. This fossil was one of the first birds. We now know that maybe, you know, he wasn't necessarily one of the first birds, but that dinosaurs more than likely, some of them at least, had feathers, right? There's a theory out there, excuse me, that possibly even iterations of Tyrannosaurus Rex actually had feathers. So yeah, we find out more about that in the future. Hopefully, I'm still interested in dinosaurs and still interested in learning, you know, all the news and new fossils they discovered. Excuse me. I love all that stuff. So yeah, just giving you the history here, kind of through the ages, the 18 to 1900s, right? Explaining how fossils are preserved, right? The age of fossils. So all the different levels, right? Every kind of basic thing you would need to know as a kid about how dinosaurs worked. I mean, I knew all this stuff off the top of my head back then, right? Because I was so into it. But like how interesting a book who will go into detail for kids about a geologist, paleontologist, paleohistologist. I'd never even heard that. And paleobiochemist. Okay, that kind of makes sense, right? But like, yeah, you're definitely exposing children to some very deep kind of scientific knowledge here. Interesting. These I loved, right? All the kind of prehistoric fishes, especially this guy here. What a great, I have a tattoo somewhere. There it is. Hopefully you guys can see a little bit of that right here. That's him. And going through the evolution, obviously the amphibians that came out of the water, kind of like giant, salamanders and alligators and things, and then eventually evolved into the dinosaurs, right? So all the basic important historical knowledge that we knew at that point anyways is here, and you just get great visual representations. Right now you would get CGI computer assisted art, which I'm not shitting on, but there's just something just maybe more evocative about these paintings to me. Not all of them. I could pick out, like, there's different artists, right? So some artists I prefer more than others. The guy who did this and this I feel is maybe the same guy, possibly this guy as well, and I just don't enjoy his style as much as, say, this guy here or this guy who did this, who I feel is maybe going for something a little more realistic. As realistic as you can be with ancient dragons and sea creatures. Here you can see where I performed some repair with Scotch tape at some point, and that Scotch tape has now gotten into almost more horrible condition than the actual paper there, so I may have to repair that again sometime. This image is stuck in my head, very iconic to me. And I realize as well as, I remember some of these images as just being so big and evocative, and I love this one here with the Triceratops, very kind of Jurassic Parky, very natural, right? It seems like, yeah, that makes sense. It's like when I see a hippo by the side of the water or something, right? And just how evocative these paintings can be, and just even at just this size. I imagine they were painted much bigger, but as a kid, I'm imagining right now, I'm kind of far back, but I'm probably putting my face right up to it, and it's like a big canvas to me, right? I kind of remember them being bigger canvases than they clearly are in this album and on these stickers. So these are some of my favorite dinosaurs, the armor-plated plant-eating dinosaurs, right? Triceratops in that family. We've got the predator dinosaurs. Some of these images, some of these paintings, right? It's just like pulp images. The creature from, 1,000 Stars or whatever, those cheesy movies. And even moving into the mammal age, right? Just realized now, looking at this, I'd been exposed to the giant sloth before. And I thought I'd recently found out about it a few years ago that a giant sloth actually existed. But it was right there in front of me all this time. I guess I just, you sometimes forget information. Very interesting to look at these old things and have it jog certain memories. So yeah, basically moving on up towards our era, right? So getting closer and closer to the kind of animals that we live with. And a few, of course, that we know didn't survive till modern times. So here's just some fun stuff, comparing proportions and size, right, to modern vehicles, things that we can kind of relate to more. Always loved this. These are really well done, I find. I feel like when I was a kid, I tried to reproduce these drawings myself at some point. This here, yeah. I haven't seen these in years. This is the first time I'm kind of going through it with you guys. So talking about kind of modern day versions or maybe what exists today that might be considered dinosaurs in a million years if they don't hang around. And then we got a page about animals made extinct by man. you know, there's also extinction not by man. I'll throw that out there. Let's not put all the blame on man. But see, some of the animals, I guess, that we've hunted to extinction or encroached on their environment, got to take some of the responsibility. Not trying to get too moralistic. I'm just kidding. So there you go. Dinosaurs, Prehistoric Animals sticker album. What did you think? Had you heard about these before? And if you did and you had them when you were a kid, which ones did you have? Let me know. Answer those questions in the comments below. Those of you who are subscribed and watching, thank you so much for still being there. Those who are not subscribed and are watching, click down below. It really helps out the channel and keeps us out there for other people to discover. So thank you so much, and everyone out there, have a great Sunday.
Like, subscribe, like, subscribe.
King Comics presents Big Baby, Volume 1, Issues 1 to 13, 204 pages of story and art. King Comics also presents Star Crasher one-shot, 32 pages, cosmic sci-fi surrealist adventure. You can find these fine comics at KingComics.CA, at MaximusRex13 on Instagram, or on Facebook, MaxRex or Big Baby.